So the first thing that we will be talking about is the definitions of health. We all know that WHO defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. Now, there are various other scriptures and systems of medicine that talk about health and its concepts. One such is given by Ayurveda, where they beautifully explain about a healthy person in the shloka, which goes like Samadosha Samagnicha Samadatu Malakriyah Prasannatmendriya Manaha Swastha iti abhidhiyate, such as Patanjali Yoga Sutras, where Maharshi Patanjali also talks about a similar kind of concept of health, which is termed as Kaya Sampat in Vibhuti Pada of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And the sutra goes like Rupa Lavanya Bala Vajra Samhananatvani Kaya Sampat, meaning perfection of body includes beauty, gracefulness, strength, and adamantine hardness. This only talks about physical health, but it doesn't mean that Indian texts only talk about the physical part of the body. It also talks about mental health, and one best example for that is given in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna talks about the characteristics of a Sthita Prajna, meaning a mentally healthy person. These are all different types of concepts given by different systems of medicine in a gist. These are all the definitions of health. Now let's look upon few things in our daily life that contribute to our lifestyle. The first thing is the food and the food habits. Here I would like to mention about the Sattvic diet concept, which most of our yoga and naturopathy physicians talk about. What is the Sattvic diet? Sattvic diet basically means a kind of diet which consists more of fruits and vegetables and less amount of sugar, salt, spice, and less consumption of onion and garlic and no consumption of meat. So what is the importance of Sattvic diet? Sattvic diet is found to enhance the positive qualities in our body, increase the Sattvika guna of our body, and reduces the negative feelings of our body like anger issues or frustration and all of that. It reduces when you consume this Sattvic diet. Now, when we talk about the nutrition and the diet, the main thing that we need to focus upon is how to eat, how much to eat, when to eat, which is given in a kind of cycle known as the mindful eating cycle. So what is this mindful eating cycle? Mindful eating cycle is one such cycle which consists of various types of questions like what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, where do I invest my energy while I'm eating. One good example I can give from the mindful eating cycle is how do I eat? Usually how do we eat? We just take the food, gulp it in a mouth, then swallow it and just leave it. But the proper way to eat our food is you need to drink your solids and eat your liquids. You get that? Eat your liquids and drink your solids. How do we do that? It's very simple. When you consume the food and it enters the mouth, you need to chew it thoroughly. Chew it in such a way it completely becomes a liquid and then you swallow it. Similarly, when you drink water, keep it in your mouth for few seconds and then swallow it. This will improve the digestion of your body. Next thing that we will see is the concept of breakfast. Breakfast is very, very, very important. You must have seen many articles talking about how important the breakfast is. Just observe the word breakfast. Break fast. You need to understand that after you had your yesterday night's dinner and then from that point of time till today's morning breakfast, you are in a phase of fasting. Now this stage of fasting needs to be broken down properly. If you don't break it properly and then suddenly jump into lunch, which comes at around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, what happens is your sugar levels rises up to a very high position and that will increase your risk to diabetes and other problems. This is why they say breakfast is very important, and modern science has also spoken a lot about breakfast. Now, you need to also make good dietary fat choices which offer essential fatty acids. Now, these essential fatty acids help the body to the balance between the blood lipid management and also maintain a proper endocrine functioning and then good amount of immune functioning, and also inflammation control is enhanced while you make a good choice of the dietary fat. The next thing that we can think about is about the calorie intake, which most of us are worried about. How much calories do I take? How much calories am I burning? There are various apps and resources which talk about all these. Main or the basic idea of calorie intake and how do you count how much calorie you need in your daily life is all based upon the body metabolic rate and then your physical activity and also the specific dynamic action of the food that you are consuming, which is allocated for around 10%. If you want a proper calorie intake video or how you want to calculate the calories, drop down in the comment boxes, let us know so that we will make a proper video on how to calculate the calorie intake. Moving on to the next concept, that is the physical activity. Now, as we all know that modern science is also talking about physical activity for at least 30 minutes in a day is highly essential for the human body. We have also seen and we have personally engaged in gyms and working out in gyms and doing cardio at home, downloading few apps and doing workout for 30 minutes and making sure we are doing the physical activity of 30 minutes and we are done. That's it. But we need to also understand that this physical activity that we are doing, is it beneficial for us? Is it giving us good amount of health? All of these should be understood while we talk about physical health. Now, the traditional systems of medicine, the Ayush talks about yoga. What is yoga? Yoga consists of postures and poses that, very complicated positions and all of that. But mainly yoga focuses upon asanas, which have particular benefits on particular diseases, and it is done with breath awareness. Understand there is difference between exercise and yoga, that there is breath awareness, there is mindfulness while you do yoga, whereas that is absent in doing the exercise at your gyms or at your homes when you do your cardio and all of that. The proper awareness of breath and mindfulness while you do the physical activity is highly essential to give us a good health. So just think for a while, is your physical activity, is the amount of physical activity that you are doing, is it giving you good amount of health? Just think and let us know. The sleep. We need to have a sound sleep, as you all know, and there is good amount of resources that tell us that 7 to 8 hours of sleep is highly essential for the human body. But are we really doing that? If so, are you properly sleeping? Are you being exposed to the mobile just before sleeping? Is all you need to consider. Because having a sound sleep, having a proper posture of sleep is also important. Now, there is a lot of issues such as sleep apnea and then snoring while the sleeping is happening and all of that. So first thing is correcting the posture. Sleeping on the back, sleeping in the supine position or in the prone position is not a good choice. Few research papers have published that sleeping to the side reduces the sleep apnea condition and also loud snoring in obese people. So this is about the posture of the sleep. Now, there is also one more concept, that is oversleeping. Lack of sleep is known as insomnia, and there are various memes that tell that I suffer from hypersomnia, meaning I have a lot of issues with sleeping a lot. Is that good? I don't think so, because sleeping for a longer periods of time can decrease the cognitive functioning of your body and also gives you less energy, and there are various other problems like you become very lazy and to carry out things and you start procrastinating your things, all of that. And also this can lead to a lot of diseases in the future, like there is a lot of increased risk for obesity and other cardiovascular problems. That is why they say that 7 to 8 hours of sleep is highly required and that is sufficient. Sleeping too much or sleeping too less is very bad. Now, there are other various articles that talk about how pranayama and yoga helps in curing this insomnia conditions, and a lot of researches is happening and lot of publications are telling us that. So it is very essential for us to practice yoga, pranayama, meditation techniques to keep our body fit and healthy and have a good amount of health.
Lifestyle apart, Let's understand why and what are immediate cures, why some people are allergic to certain medications, and what this all means. Immediate cures can be understood as short term solutions for long term diseases. Now, to understand this better, it means suppressing the symptoms or the disease symptomatically for the time being so the problem can be ignored. Now, this poses a threat by itself, major threat being that of the disease progressing without the person's notice. Now, this can be understood with a small example: obesity, right? For obese people, there are certain programs apart from diet and exercise which encourages them to take supplements which are chemically very unstable. To understand this better, I'm talking about substances such as diuretics, which cut down the water levels in the body to show that there is weight loss. Now, when somebody takes these supplements in the long run, they're actually harming their kidney but not treating the primary problem of a bad lifestyle. All of this sums up that lifestyle disorders cannot be cured with immediate cures. Now, what do we understand when these medications actually work on people? Let us take an example of hypertension. In certain patients, the hypertension medicine that is mostly prescribed is Losar-H. Now, this medication has adverse effects on certain people. Owing to each person's body constitution, this can also give side effects such as photophobia and long term headaches. To avoid these problems, the lifestyle or the root cause of the disorder must be cured. To understand this better, a person should be treated as a whole in all aspects of his life, instead of treating only the problem that is right in front. Only then the disease, such as hypertension, diabetes, or obesity, get cured. Ill effects of immediate cures can be better seen in mental disorders where the medication given, such as anti-epileptics or antipsychotics, have a tendency where the dosage needs to be increased with the progression of the disease. So, what this simply means is a person who might be taking an X amount of medication has to increase the dosage 3 or 4 times after 2 or 3 weeks of taking the same medication. Now, what this means is the medication does not treat the problem completely, whereas it just suppresses the frequency of the attacks that happen in epilepsy or any other psychotic illnesses. This way of treating the body will lead to other side effects that might arise up and affect other organs. One must avoid trying to take immediate cures or short term relief from a problem and treat the root cause of the problem instead. One might defend the use of immediate cures in the case of certain conditions or short term illnesses such as fevers by taking a paracetamol, but it is seen that paracetamol has a hepatotoxic effect and very hard for the liver to break down and excrete from the body. So there is an accumulation of this leading to liver problems which might manifest in other symptoms such as swelling in the lower limbs or the extremities of the hand and long term headaches. Without taking paracetamol, one might not be able to sleep, and such problems might arise. But what about taking these medications in the case of fever? To understand fever itself is an acute reaction of the body or its own defense system against certain infections or certain pathogens. By taking paracetamol or any other non steroidal anti inflammatory drugs, you pose a threat to the immune system, barring it from letting the immune system work properly. So, the correct approach to curing or fixing a problem or the disease is by changing our lifestyle or treating the problem from its root, not from the surface level or symptomatically.